Savaged Army. It's time. The new drop is launching soon. All gas, no brakes. Gold tees, savage hoodies, gear that hits harder than the truth. Get in the fight. SavagedArmy.com. Don't sleep.
Savage Unfiltered.
Welcome to the Savaged Unfiltered Show, where we say what the hell everyone else is scared to say. Hosted by Michael Gardner. Raw, unapologetic, no filter, no bullshit. Savage.
5 of the biggest alcohol makers in the world are sitting on what's described as a lake of unsold alcohol. $22 billion worth of inventory, according to the Financial Times, a result of people drinking less than they used to. And to think there's still a week to go in dry January.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Oh, we got a really good one. Big one today, guys. But before we get into today's programming, I do want to apologize for yesterday's show on Savage 10. I literally did an on-air gaffe towards the end of that. If anybody did pay attention, where I was going into entertainment news with Zendaya secretly marrying Tom Holland. Not Homan, Holland. I said the fucking borders are Tom Holman. No, he's not marrying some 20-something-year-old chick. He's already married. So I did a complete on-air gaffe. So I do apologize for that, folks. I really do. And what the hell are you showing me? What is that, a white piece? What the hell are you doing?
I'm covering my laughing.
Oh, I thought you're pulling like a cue card or something. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about here?
I don't know.
But anyway.
No.
No,
It's fine.
Anyway. No, I did a complete gaffe, guys, on yesterday's bonus series of Savage 10. So it is what it is, you know. But today we're going to be talking about why Gen Z is apparently ditching the trendy nightlife of clubs and regular bars for a little bit more low scale of dive bars. So why are they doing that? Well, if you stick around, you're going to find out.
Stick around.
Because there's some trends going around here in 2026 why they're switching up. And if you paid attention to the beginning of the show here, I did plug a short little video piece here of, you know, having to do with prices. Gen Z is they're having struggles, you know, I guess having fun in the bar.
I don't know.
Yeah. Are you sleeping again?
No, I was just thinking maybe we need to put a call out to us old boomers to pick up the slack.
Probably. But you know, this coming out of a Chicago article from, where the hell is this from? WOWO. Okay, is it an article? Yeah, okay. Thought it was a fucking website. So coming out of Chicago, where they're basically saying that young adults are redefining nightlife by trading trendy cocktail lounges and hard to get reservations for neighborhood bars and dive spots. And this is according to a reporting coming out of Fox News and Business Insider. Interesting. Do you think it has to do with the current work ethic of Gen Z individuals, Tom?
No, I think it has to do with they want a place to go and just have fun. They don't want to spend the big bucks. They don't want to spend the time getting dressed to go out and go to these places where you got to stand in line to get into the nightclubs, the rave. You know, they don't want to spend the time to do all that.
Yeah.
They want to just go to the local bar, have some drinks, have some laughs, slap some money in the jukebox and just have a good time. I think
and have cheap beer, right? I mean, that's what it seems like.
Just get your beer on tap, I mean, look, the guy looks like in the picture, the guy's drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. Doesn't get much cheaper than that, people. But
that's like no. There's beer cheaper than that. You got to think of like Natty Daddies. Like that's like
or Keystone.
Yeah.
I think what they're looking for is they're looking for that Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows your name. Dun, dun, dun. And this would be Norm, right? He would be like the friendly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like our generation where still we can go to a bar or a club and spend almost $100 and still have fun, right? For a few hours.
You know what else they're looking for maybe too is a place that's not as loud. I mean, a dive bar, your little neighborhood hole in the wall bar you go to, it's not really loud.
That's the problem with this generation. They have a tendency to be triggered by noise. It bothers them. It bothers them for some strange reason.
Bothers me.
You're old. Everything bothers you.
Oh.
But what did you do when you were younger? Like, did you like what kind of places did you go to? Did you go to these dive bars when you were younger, or did you go to like regular nightclubs?
No, never went to no nightclub. Never went to no nightclub. If we're gonna go to a bar, it was a place that had some pool tables, a jukebox, and just people.
Your generation is what, the 60s and 70s, right?
My generation,
yeah.
1946 to 1964. That's the boomers.
I'm talking about the generation when you started, clubbing or going to the bar. It would be like the 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah. When our kids were little, we were going to the bars. We were getting away from them because there were a bunch of little rowdy kids running around the house. So that was like in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked that is because I'm trying to see like what went wrong with the Gen Z generation versus the Gen X, which I would be a Gen X, the boomers, which would be you, the golden age, which would be before you. Yeah. And I forgot what the hell comes before golden age. I think it's like I think they call them elites or something.
I got what it is right here. You got the silent generation, 1928 to 1945. You got the boomers, 1946 to 1964. You got Gen X, 1965 to 1980. These are the years they're born.
Yeah.
You got the millennials, 1981 to 1996. You got the Gen Z, 1997 to 2012. And then you got the Gen Alpha, which is 2013 to 2028.
Yeah, they can't drink yet.
No. Well,
just about. Almost. They're off by like a hair of a couple of months or maybe close to a year. But yeah. So we're talking about Gen Z because they are necessarily eligible to drink by law. So the reason why I say that is because experts, right? Mm-hmm. Industry experts told this Fox News digital team that Gen Z, generally defined as those born between 97 and 2012, are prioritizing affordability and flamarity, right?
That could be, yeah.
With real world connection over social media experiences. Oh, see, I knew it. It's that social media junk. That's what's ruining this fucking generation.
Mm-hmm. I think they're recognizing that it's ruining them, or it has ruined them, and they're pulling away from it. But another thing too, look at what they watched on TV. What did my generation and my kids' generation watch on TV? Cheers. They had Archie's Place on TV. Archie's, and then those kinds of places. But what did the other kids? What did the millennials and the Gen Zs grow up watching? Everybody's going to a rave or a rav and a nightclub. Flashing lights, high society. Everybody dressed up. That's what they were going to. So they're out and they're trying to experience what they're seeing on TV. And I think they found out that no, that's not where it's at, man.
Yeah, because apparently what is going on with this generation, right? They want cheaper drinks. They want laid back atmospheres, and they want the ability to become a regular to these local bars. Well, let me tell you something here before you chime in there, Tom. Let me tell you something here, folks. That cheaper beer is not always necessarily good beer in a bar. And I can tell you that from past experience from my early 20s when I would, go to the club scene and, hit up the bars and stuff like that up north and, basically all over the place. Cheap beer is not only bad beer, but it makes you out to be a lame partier, more or less. I mean, I don't know if you can agree with that, Tom, but I mean, when I was in my 20s and we would hit the clubs and the bars and, the nightlife for the night, if you were getting, cheap, really cheap beer, like a Natty Daddy or a Patsy, right? I mean, you would be looked as the lame duck of the crowd, and no one would want to be around you because they would look at you as a poor guy and not a fun guy. That's what I'm kind of getting at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I, for one, was never like that. I couldn't care less what anybody was drinking. But you hit the head on the nail on the head when you said about cheap drinks, because they want to go in and we used to call them well drinks.
Yeah.
We used to go in and get well drinks. Give me a rum and Coke. What kind of rum do you want? Give me the well rum. Or give me a 7-7. What do you want? You want Seagrams or do you want? No, give me the well drink. And that stuff was pure garbage. I mean, you drank that stuff because you wanted to get drunk. You didn't drink it because you're you're not after the good, high quality, good taste and stuff. You just want, and maybe that's what it is about the dive bars. Because with dive bars, you don't really go there to, hello, I'd like to have a little sip of bourbon, a little sip of scotch here. No, you go there, give me whatever you got behind the bar. I want to get drunk. That's what it is. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they just want to go and get drunk. Cheap beer,
Well, the industry experts are saying that the Gen Z drinks, right? The Gen Z, they drink less alcohol overall.
I believe that.
Well, that's good. I mean, they're being responsible, right? That whole catchphrase from like throughout the last 50 some odd years in the alcohol advertisements were drink responsible. Right? Yeah. They're drinking responsibly. I mean,
you told them to, and now they're doing it.
Now they're doing it.
And now they're mad because they're not selling the alcohol.
Now they're mad. But for that, drinking less alcohol, it's making the dive bars more or less more appealing spaces to socialize without pressure. Because dive bars haven't been just introduced in the last 10 years. They've been around forever.
Ever. You know what it made me think of, Michael? Dive bars don't have minimum drinks. Like when you go into a fancy bar, it's usually a 2-drink minimum. They throw minimums on you. You got to have a 2-drink minimum. There's a cover fee. You got to pay to get in, a door fee. Dive bars aren't like that.
No.
There's no drink limit. You come in and you don't pay to get in the door. Yeah. They are appealing. I think they are more appealing than the hoity-toity places.
Now, is this going to more or less reinsurrect the dive bars back into existence with what I just said? Like people seem to be drinking lesser, but is the environment still going to match up in the nightlife? Yes. Or you think so? Yes. I don't know.
And I'll tell you why I think so. Because you got the old boomers that are still going to the dive bars. You got the Gen X's going to the dive bars. You got everybody below the Gen Z's are going to the dive bars. And it's a funner atmosphere. I mean, and they got sports going on. And that's what appeals to the boomers in that, is going in and watching sports. And you got a pleasant crowd. That's not a rowdy crowd. I mean, it's just people in there having a good time. No one's in there to say, hey, look at me. I'm fancy. I'm fancy. And, No, nobody's they could care less. They're just going in to have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what's appealing to a dive bar. We got several of them close by where Grammy and I live. I'll tell you, the parking lots are packed. They're packed. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would always look as the dive bars as like a last resort back in the day, especially in my clubbing days. Like we would always hit like the fancy clubs and lounges before we would hit a dive bar. A dive bar, you hit there like maybe after work for like about a half hour, 40 minutes, just to get your drink in or your fix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you had a hard day at work or something. And then you go right home. That's what a dive bar was, basically, like a hole in the wall type of piece of shit place. But according, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And at night they're usually pretty empty because everybody's gone to the fancy places at night. But I think now everybody's staying in the dive bars. Yeah.
Well, according to an Australian chart here from Australia, because I want to see what's going on the other side of the world too. According to this chart here, guys, check this out. This chart. Real household spending on alcohol and tobacco by age, okay, based to 100 of 2002 to 2003. Okay, so this is a little old, but again, you're going to see, the comparison maybe in the last 20-something years. Okay, so from 2004, we'll look at 2004, right? Actually, it does go up. Thank you. Yeah. Just let me know sometimes. It does go up to almost recently, 2022. So from 2004, right, we see, slightly lowered, right around the 44 mark. 24, right around the same mark there in 2004. Now go all the way up to 2014, right? 24, right, would be right around the same margin. 65 and oh my God, a lot of alcoholics there in Australia, 65 and over. Good grief. See that chart go way up. It goes up. But if you notice the chart, it kind of centrally balances it out between 24 to 45 years of age. Did you notice that, Tom?
Yeah.
So
what are the numbers running up the left side of that chart there? What's that? I mean, we got the years along the bottom.
Yeah.
And what's the numbers going along the top? Like what's 100? 100 what?
Now the 100, those are between household what the hell is it?
Spending? Is that money spent?
More or less, yeah. It's the household spends, yes, of the household of normally what they spend on it. So roughly, like I said, if you go back to 2004, it says 15 to 24. I mean, obviously, the drinking laws are a little different in Australia, but from those ages right there, they would spend just about $100 on alcohol
and tobacco,
right? And tobacco. Now, if you look at 65 and over in 2004, right around the same. So from 2004 to like about 2007, 8-ish there, they're spending around just about $100.
Yeah.
Now you go up to 2010, it goes up to about 120.
Now we're going up, baby.
Like you look at 2022, the most amount of people in Australia that are spending on alcohol and tobacco are your 65 and over, and they're spending 2021-ish, I'm thinking right there, would about $220 on alcohol and tobacco.
Boomers and Gen Xers, baby. That's us and our kids.
Yeah. Now versus, 24 to like 25, close to 30, they're only spending about $105, $103 just a few years ago. So, I mean,
that's because they see how we act with all the money we're spending.
Now, how does this compare to, the information you just showed us, Savage, with the, Gen X, with the trendy stuff and all that dive bars? There's a point here, folks. Listen. This is where they're saying Gen Z is ditching the club scene, with the high prices and all this other, and they want to go to dive bars because this chart, even though it's Australia, does match up with the information here in America, in the States. They just can't simply afford now being almost $1,000 in a club to have fun versus, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you can simply walk in with $100 bill and have a good night for 3, 4, 5 hours. It just doesn't, it doesn't mesh up now 40 some odd years later. You know what I mean?
Maybe they've become more money conscious. They don't want to spend the big bucks,
That's coming back because we seen that in the 50s where people would actually look at, their consumer prices a lot carefully then than they,
I mean, you go to a fancy place. I went to a fancy place. Me and Grammy were there, and I told her I wanted to get me a drink. So I went to the bar, and I was going to get me a Macallan's. I like scotch. So I went, let me have a Macallan's, make it a double. Okay. They put it in this little tiny taster glass and handed it to me. They go, $40. I went, excuse me? I didn't want the bottle. I just wanted a drink. No,
yeah.
But see, I could go down the street to a dive bar, go in there and get me a double, maybe not Macallan's, but give me a double Jameson. Let me have a double Jameson. And it'd be like $15. I mean, so I think a lot of it could be because it's cheaper to go out and hang with your friends in a dive bar. And it's a funner experience. You have a funner experience.
Well, this is saying here, since this trend has been taking off now in the last, couple of years now, since it's been, going into that full force, the alcohol industry, folks, has lost $830 billion in the last 4 years. Yeah.
Holy moly.
$830 billion in 4 years. And I think that has a lot to do with the COVID era, to an extent, because even though, there were restrictions on most of our businesses in America during that era,
right.
A lot of people were not willing to put up with the comply of, food delivery and regular, product delivery through places and sources like DoorDash or Uber Eats. They didn't want to pay, the extra freight, so to speak, on the bill when it came to that. You know what I mean, Tom? Like if you go on the DoorDash and, you're buying something that was $20-something, in alcohol, you got to add at least another 12, 13 with fees, platform fees. Yeah. So I think that may have had a slight difference with that. Yeah.
What about the legalization of marijuana? How much is that taken away from the alcohol industry? People not paying alcohol and they're because it's legal. It's legalized in a lot of places.
So you're saying the pot industry is coming back from like the fucking 70s and 80s? I mean, because that was a huge boom then.
We got all kinds of stores and shops in my area. You can go 5 minutes from here. You can go and go in there and buy all the weed you want. I mean, you can go in there and buy it. I mean, all you need to do is go in there with a driver's license.
Yeah. Well, according to this one content creator on was it TikTok? TikTok she's on. And she's putting this out that sober Gen Z is not a good thing. Check this out, guys.
I don't think this new data on Gen Z drinking is necessarily something to celebrate. By now, I'm sure we've seen the data. Gen Z is drinking way less than other generations. Now, I'm sure some of this is just an age and budget thing. Gen Z right now is between ages 13 and 29, so there's a pretty obvious reason that a lot of high schoolers don't have the same alcohol intake or beer budget that their parents do. But I do think that we're seeing a lot more of this sober, curious culture creep in, even just anecdotally, and while I'm seeing a lot of people celebrate it, I don't necessarily think that's the right approach, because there's two main drivers of this, and neither one of them is positive. Firstly, Gen Z is really antisocial. The 15 to 24-year-old age range has the largest decline in socialization, which is probably in large part because the lockdowns killed their social skill formation at some pretty critical years. And probably also because they're more likely to doom scroll than carry a conversation with someone, which, is going to negatively impact your ability to carry that sort of conversation in the future. But I do think that the phones throw a damper on things in other ways as well. Every time you see a video from the 90s, whether it's prom or just like hanging out at high school, the caption on it is always something like, why did they always seem so happy? Because it's hard to ignore that people really do seem just so happy and carefree in a way that you don't see anymore.
Yeah, let me pause it there for a minute. I'll go right back to that video. She's right about that. You know, she goes into COVID, which I just went into COVID, right? COVID, like literally, I mean, destroyed this culture. And I like how she brought in with the mid 90s, all right, which is right up my alley, right? Yeah. I mean, we were more happier. We were more pleasant. I mean, it's just social. More social. Yeah. But why was that? Why were we so like?
No electronics, not as much electronics.
There you go. There's the kicker. Find out what else does she say here. Let's listen.
I don't think it's just because people today are on their phones necessarily, although that plays into it. I think it's because everyone today has this built-in fear of being recorded doing something that they'll be embarrassed by, which they didn't have as much before. Or if you were recorded doing something stupid, you knew that it wasn't going to go viral online. It was just going to be on somebody's camcorder or whatever they had. Which is just to say, I don't think that the rise of sobriety in Gen Z has very much at all to do with disliking alcohol. I think it's more a fear of the lack of self-control that comes with it and the social consequences that can result. It's just an extension of our need to protect ourselves from socialization rather than getting lost.
They're insecure, yeah.
We can change this tomorrow. No, of course not. But I do think we can do subtle things, like stop recording people without their permission, call out people who do, and proactively relax and socialize with friends, even if you might do or say something a little embarrassing.
You know, she brings out something that I never thought of, but I think she's hit something on there. But it's not these people that, you know, you go out and, you know, if you trip and fall, bam, there's like 10 cameras on you filming you.
Yeah, because they want that live in moment attention span, right? They want that. They want that, whether it's 5 minutes fame on social media or they just want it, Tom. You know, that's what it seems to be. Yeah.
And it's like if something happens to somebody and they get hurt, what's the first thing that people around them do? They start filming them. They don't see if they're okay. They don't check on their well-being. And so they don't want to go drinking. They don't want to go out and go drinking because all the people with them, the 5 buddies they're with them, are going to end up, you know, they're going to end up going, hey, check out Savage, man. Look at this, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But here's the problem with all that. Okay, she hits a lot of key notes, right? First of all, here's the reasons behind all this, okay? They can't afford to drink, nor buy a house, get married, have any type of insight of having children along the way. Right. Most that can get a job barely speak by living with their parents. Now try telling them we have no inflation, and they'll go, I don't even know if they can get a response with that. You know what I mean?
They go, I don't even know what inflation is.
Right.
I'm living off my mom and dad. They take care of everything for me. You know, what are you talking about inflation? This Gen Z and probably even the millennials, they have been socially engineered and they're being ripped off.
Well, they're saying that the sales are crushing right now at bars because it's boring. How is it boring? Is 2026 going to be interesting, folks? Or, I mean, how can... That's a first. I've never heard of this. I mean, I obviously, folks, I do a lot of my homework, you know, in preparation for these shows. So I look a lot at these analysis, you know, with these trends that pop up, because it's a trend, folks. It comes and goes, you know. And this trend seems to be an economical trend. I mean,
you know what I'd like to know, Michael, is in these dive bars, are people in there on their phones and that like they are normally? You know, usually you can't go into a restaurant. You see people always on the phones. They're all doing this.
Well, it's a dive bar, man. I mean, you know, it's.
But like you said, though, I mean, they're wanting. I think, are they wanting to escape that kind of lifestyle and spend more time together and in a nice, calm place where they can without any downside, people looking down at them and this and that. And they go to a dive bar, where it's just nice, calm, have a couple of drinks with the buddies. And are they on their phone? Maybe they're not even on their phones when they're. Maybe they're trying to break away from that internet social stuff. I don't know.
It might be a marketing tactic, I think, even on the consumer level. You know what I mean by that? Like they may be holding off from going to the more expensive clubs and the lounges and the bars and stuff like that than going to the dive bar, because this is not a first, folks. We've seen this in other respected generations of era, right? We've seen this in the 70s to extent. I remember my father telling me, in the early to mid 70s, him and my mother would sometimes skip the big flashy clubs and go to a local bar, or now they call them dive bars, a hole in the wall. That's what it is now. It's just a fancy word, dive bar. That's what it is. But they would skip that and they would focus on one club or one bar a month versus every weekend. So it might be a consumer economic tactic through the consumer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing I was thinking about while you're talking is how many of these dive bars have Wi-Fi? I bet you a lot of them don't. Hey, do you got Wi-Fi here? Nah, we don't have any Wi-Fi.
That's the point. A lot of them are just, fifth, sixth, seventh generation small little bars that's been in the family for years. Yeah. And they're like, your typical, mama and pop shop that just has the bare minimum.
Right.
They're only there to serve drinks. They're not there to serve the extras, Tom. They
got cable TV with ESPN on it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now with the new business rates increasing, folks, they're also seeing an average pub trying to sell at least 60,000 pints a year. That's a success for any type of bar. 60,000. That's a little dramatic, Michael. But no, it's actually I've seen high end, very very high end bars sell 60,000 pints a year. That's a lot of beer that they it can be established and accomplished to that level, but there are a lot of bars in America that struggle even selling.
Michael, that's only that's like 165 pints a day.
Yeah, that's good business.
Yeah, that is real good business.
That's good business. But we have bars in America that can even, they fail to even accomplish that.
Yeah.
And the old man here on the show is like, he's even looking stuff up to see if my receipts are accurate. I like how you did that, because it's true.
Yeah, I'm just curious when you said 60,000 a year. I'm going, how many is that? How much is that a day? About 165 pints a day.
And where I got this from, where I'm going to plug this video here in a minute, okay? That number also represents 97% of operators literally freezing future investments. I'm talking about advertisements. I'm talking about social media graphics. I'm talking about anything that's going to promote their brand. They are struggling right now because are we still in an inflation? Somewhat. We're not as high during the Biden administration of some between 6 to 9% of inflation. We are down at a normal, healthy 1.5, okay, which you want to be. You can't eliminate inflation completely, folks.
No.
You can't. It's nearly impossible. But a healthy number, Tom, you can bring it right around 1.5, which is a healthy level.
Can you imagine you having a dive bar and you go in there and you tell your bar people, say, look, we have got to sell 14 pints an hour. Now you think 14 pints an hour? Yeah, if there's people in the bar, yeah. I could maybe 14 pints an hour. because they'd have to do that for 12 hours to hit that daily quota. And then they'd have to do that every day for a year to hit that 60,000. Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Now, this video I want to
makes me thirsty.
It makes me thirsty, you know, and this video I want to plug, okay, that goes into this, the same amount of analytics and measures and everything else that I just mentioned briefly. Check this out, guys, because this is going to be disturbing if you're a bar owner, okay, or any type of small business owner relating to the bar club industry. Check this out.
My sector is hospitality. We're the 5th biggest sector in the whole of the UK, the 3rd largest employer. And actually, we are hurtling towards a double cliff edge now with the NI increase and the business increase as well, the business rates increase. Just to put that into perspective, with the business rates increase on an average pub, you'd have to sell another 60,000 pints every single year. 97% of people have now stalled any investment. So to say it's the party of business and growth, I doubt it.
That's coming out of the UK, folks. So not just America is suffering, okay? Because the numbers that he gave are very close to the numbers in America. It might be off by a little, small little margin, but they're struggling.
Yeah.
What happened in the last 50 some odd years? What happened, Tom?
COVID.
Well, that played a big part, but we're talking about an epidemic that lasted for what, a year and a half, 2 years, the most.
But people just, I don't know, they're just not drinking. I don't know. But see, I don't agree with that lady that says that that's not a good. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good, because look at if you're not drinking as much, you don't have the alcohol related things. You don't have people driving around drunk. You know, you don't have the domestic violence. You don't have the fighting in the bars. You know, you do away with that kind of stuff.
Responsibility is great. I'll give you that. Okay. She's right on a lot of things, and she's right on other things too. She's right on the responsibility, but she's also right on the sociability of people, their peers, communicating with one another, engaging in one another. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you talk about COVID, right? COVID played a big part on isolating someone's character, breaking them down, literally. And you're seeing that right now with this new generation. They don't know how to socialize with one another. No. They don't know how to communicate with one another without picking up this damn fucking thing and wondering who's on a fucking TikTok live or, doing something stupid, right? Or filming something on the street, like she mentioned, right? They want that 5 or 10 minute fucking fame where they can post it on TikTok or some kind of social media platform. That's the problem. And it's affecting their emotions, their feelings. I mean, you talk about feelings. Holy shit, man. They're all over the place with that.
Yeah.
But honestly, are we going to talk about this generation? Yes, we are. Because if they're not careful, they're going to collapse their own culture as a generation, if you know what I mean by that.
It's making me wonder what's filling that void, though. I mean, if they're not drinking, you usually drink to escape. You drink to get drunk,
have fun with your friends, escape from the work week, or escape from your parents' hellhole that they put you through for the last fucking week. Yeah. So
if they're not drinking that, what are they doing to escape from that? Are other drugs, and are we seeing an increase in other drugs? Are we seeing like I mentioned, marijuana? Are we seeing an intake in marijuana consumption? And
we seen that experiment from the 70s with certain drugs, right? Yep. With cocaine, with marijuana. I think, was it heroin? Was that popular in the 70s? Yeah. So is the 70s coming back into play with de-isolating social activity within individuals? I think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I believe history repeating itself. I really do. But if we talk honestly, the consumption and the disposable income has taken a major downturn, Tom. Look at the income now. No one's making nearly enough as they once was before COVID. After COVID, you started seeing everyone's paychecks kind of go down. I mean, I'll be honest. Are the jobs there? The jobs are there, folks. We have the jobs. We have the jobs that you can make a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah, they're out there.
But we don't have the will behind those individuals to fill those jobs. So the income level is decreasing due to the person's demeanor of motivation. That's what's declining in the country, the motivation. What that young lady just was saying in the clip that I plugged. The motivation is lacking. Without motivation, you don't have will of drive to steer you in the right direction, more or less. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, and then that directly connects to people's social and, like I said, right, their social and spending habits, the bottle service, right? What's bottle service? The bottle service is the actual engagement within the individual, right? That also links to rent and mortgage, car, groceries. Come on. People, you look at them right now and they don't even know how to manage a simple fucking checkbook, even though checkbooks are kind of going obsolete now and everything's more digitalized. But if you gave him an actual checkbook, I'm not talking about a checkbook, folks, that you write, from your bank and you write it out to somebody, a business, individual, whatever. I'm talking about a physical checkbook. A checkbook, my personal opinion of a checkbook is your finances. You're
talking about a ledger.
Yeah.
You're showing your money, your output versus your input and all
They
that.
don't know. They don't know that. I don't think it was explained to them. So, I mean, it's a great question that we need to discuss today on the show. Yes, liquor sales are down. Literally, they've been down since 8% since 2024. But
why? We want to know why.
Because I physically believe. Now, this is my opinion. Now, my opinion might be different from your opinion, but I'd love to hear your opinions. Okay? My opinion on this has to do with everything we've been discussing today on the show. Zero sociability of individuals. Okay? Self-isolation. No one's going out anymore. Everyone's staying home on their keyboards. They're doing this and talking to people more than actually sitting down and saying, hey, how you doing? Hey, how was your work week? Hey, how's the kids going? How they doing?
Yeah, none of that happening.
None of that happening. Instead of this is what they're doing, similar to what Tom and I are doing right now on a podcast platform. They're talking like this through video. Mm-hmm. Is that engaging? To a degree it is. Is it communicating? It's communicating, but are you socializing? No, you're not socializing.
No.
Because I can fake my entire character and personality right now through a video.
Yeah,
versus somebody in real life.
We can change our persona who we're at. We can change it. We can put on an act. We can put on a show in front of a camera. And then when the camera goes off, it's like, bah! We change. We like that. We change. Hey, how you doing?
I get what you're saying. It's
not, and I try to warn people that you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know these people. You don't know. No. And when you're talking face to face, and you're eyeball to eyeball, you can see body move. You can judge a person. You can look at them and see where they're at. You can smell them. I mean, there's so much more involved in one-on-one confrontation, a one-on-one communication. I mean, we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. Now, this chart here I want to bring up is, before we close it out here, folks, this is now showing people eating less at sit-down restaurants. Now, before I put this up here, folks, I will agree that eating at home is more healthier, not only for your mind, but for your pocketbook too.
Yeah.
But is it okay to splurge a little bit and go out? Absolutely. My mother and father would take us out when we were kids, at least sometimes twice a week.
Yeah.
The beginning of the week, and then towards like the end of the week by the weekend, right?
Yep.
We would do that. And I'm a strong believer in contributing not only to our society as a taxpayer, but also as a citizen, contributing to our both local and corporate businesses, because that's how you keep our economy strong. Now, this is coming from 2022, this chart, okay? So it's a couple years old. Why I can't get anything from current years is because of the fiscal years. We're still not through correct fiscal years. So I'm going through very, very current charts here, okay? So this poll of some 486 random people here show that they are eating less at sit-down restaurants, meaning a regular restaurant. 28% say no, 72% say yes.
But why? But how much of that is because of cost? It's outrageous to eat out.
That's what I mean by this. Yeah. 72% of these respondents, right? These poll takers that conducted this poll, okay, say that it's due to what you just said, Tom, tightening financial conditions.
I mean, we used to go out to eat. What would we get? We'd sit down, we order drinks, we'd get an appetizer, we'd get the meal, we'd get dessert. Now, when we go out to eat, what do we get? We get water to drink, no appetizers, the meal, and go home. And we're spending more money now than we were when we were, having a good time eating.
But the common reason cited for this, the common reasons, right? Inflation,
right?
Alcohol costs increase, which we've discussed heavily on the show today. The tipping culture is really nothing anymore. Waitresses are complaining about tips. Okay?
I'm complaining about tips.
Yeah. Healthier options at home. People are, going back to that 1960, 50 era where people would actually cook more at home than going out, which we would discuss that a couple weeks ago. If you go into other programs that we had with other episodes with people being more healthier back in the 50s and 60s than they are now. Okay. And poor service. When was the last time you went to a restaurant or a diner or any type of restaurant chain that gave you like absolutely great service? Raise your hand. It's been a while, even for me. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they're getting tipped horrible, because of the service. So, I mean, hopefully that turns around.
We could do a complete show on tipping.
Oh God. Well, the tipping is gonna kind of comment on that real quick before I go into a couple little segments here with some other pieces here on the episode. The tipping is going to help a little bit, with the no tax on tips that President Trump just basically signed and it went into law, which the full effect is going to be taking place this year, folks. So if you look on your taxes next year for 2027, you'll see a slight difference. If you go to, report that, which I hope you do, report your tips to the federal government. Trust me, it's going to help you out with your deductions, if you are in that industry. I actually have some friends that are restaurant owners, and some of their waitresses and bartenders. I mean, it helps them out tremendously of the deductions. It really does. But anyway, guys, I do want to direct your attention to the screen. Our coffee is now available, guys. That's right. If you go over to my main website, savageunfiltered.com.wordpress.com, you will get the exact information to this amazing brand that I started earlier this year through our Savage Grind Coffee Company. This particular one on the screen is Scroll and Burn, which is our dark roast, 100% roasted coffee, none of the filler shit. It's Italian grade. It's all imported from Italy and through amazing farms. I deal with 2 amazing farms in the state of Oregon, Bend, Oregon, actually, believe it or not, that manufactures, process, and produces all my coffee. So amazing stuff. Also want to say this weekend, guys, that's right, it's already available. If you're checking us out right now, it's already available. So head over to savagearmy.com and check out this amazing piece here. I stand with President Trump. That's right. Trump was right about everything. He was right about the corruption, the fraud. He was right about the voter irrealities, meaning that they a little far-fetched. He was right about everything, guys. Check it out. All brand new merchandise on savagearmy.com. Really good stuff over there. Got some new stuff coming out soon with some coffee mugs, hoodies, beanies, hats, socks. Hell, if you even want a MAGA baby outfit for your baby, it's going to be on there too, guys. Amazing stuff. No, I'm serious. We're going all out on savagearmy.com. So
hey,
amazing stuff.
Michael.
Yeah.
Question for you. So on your savagearmy.com, your merchandise.
Sure.
Are we going to be able to buy coffee there too? Can we get the coffee?
Not on the merchandise website, but you can go over to the main website that I just mentioned on Savage Unfiltered, and it has a direct link that you can go right to that.
Well, I was just going to say I mean,
they're separate websites, but it's all listed on the main website of Savage Unfiltered. Yeah.
Because I might be looking at a shirt and think, man, I need to get some coffee, and if it was right,
well, it's all there. It's all there. Like, it's all there. You have the coffee there. You have the merchandise website there. It's right on our main flagship website. All right there. All main direct links, guys. If you can't find it, then put your glasses on. You can find it then.
You know me. I'm an old man. I like things simple. I want to go to. I'm a one-stop shopper.
One-stop shopper. I'm telling you.
I shop at one stop. I'm shopping for everything.
You're crazy. You really are. There's something wrong with you. Anyway, guys, check me out in Pittsburgh. That's right, guys. I'm going to be out in Pittsburgh. You can see it right here, downtown Pittsburgh. The next show at Poe Duty Harrison's Theater. That's right, guys. Thank you, fucking Michaela. She's always taking some really good ones. Tickets are on sale, guys, at poeduty.com. Just scroll down to where it says upcoming events. You'll find my show where it'll say the Stomping Grounds Tour 2026, and I'm right there. Tickets are still available, but they are going fast, guys. So once they're sold out, you only have one option and one option only. That is to view me on their website live, okay? Because once the in-person tickets sell, that's it. That's it. I mean, that theater only holds, it's a little theater, only holds like 40, 45 people. That's it. I think there's like maybe a few left for in-person, but the live is unlimited. Anywhere in the world you can listen to the live, but you won't see that in-person live feel of the experience, more or less, you know? So check us out there at Poe Duty, which is in Tarentum, on the outskirts of downtown Pittsburgh. And it's going to be a fun show. 3 nights, April 13th to 15th. Show starts immediately at 7 p.m. So I want to say thank you to Jeff Ravilla over there at Harrison's Theater. Thank you very much for welcoming me back in there. I had fun last year, and I hope to have fun this year. So other than that, I think I'm going to close it out. Tom, you got anything going on, man, with you this week? Or
Nope. I just dropped yesterday. I dropped the latest Jim Rock, the Jim Rock show, my radio rock and roll show from Ride Time Radio. I dropped it on Podbeam, so it's out there for people to download and listen to. My Monday morning show is available to listen to, the Old Man's Podcast, Table Talk Live. That's able, and Grammys Week Ahead. Everything's available on download to listen to at Podbeam, our webpage, www.theoldmanspodcast.com, Apple, Amazon, anywhere you get your podcast. Just I appreciate you checking us out. Give us a listen, a like, and a follow. I just appreciate it.
Yeah. Check out Tom at the Old Man's Podcast on Podbean or anywhere a podcast is found, for that matter. Other than that, guys, we are always available here Tuesdays on the Podbean app from 12 p.m., which we will be live on Podbean this upcoming Tuesday. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. And then always, guys, on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, exclusively on Spotify or anywhere a podcast is housed. I'm Savage. This is the Old Man. We'll see you next Tuesday, guys, on Podbean. Later.
This had been a Truth Productions media episode. Thank you for listening.